an anti-hate bill and didn't give black people anything at all. So what makes Joe Biden any better than Donald Trump? Nothing. What made Bill Clinton any better than Donald Trump, except he let black people dance at his inauguration and he put a couple Negroes on his presidential cabinet, and damn near every black person that Bill Clinton put on the cabinet, he kicked off later. See, when you look at the X's and O's, there's not much difference between the Democrats and Republicans. The only difference is the strategy. And what black people are not recognizing, what we fail to see, is the Democrats will let the Republicans do their dirty work to keep their hands clean, but they still support them. For example, when the governor of Florida, DeSantis, said that he was going to eliminate black history from the books, Joe Biden, as President Joe Biden said, I'm not going to take him to court over that. I'm not going to cut off his federal funding over that. But according to the Civil Rights Bill of 1964, as well as the federal educational amendments, if you practice discrimination in federally funded public school programs, you get your money cut. Joe Biden didn't touch his money. So the Democrats feel the same way about black people as Republicans do. They just practice a different strategy.
If you've been watching games anyways, you might as well make it more fun. I've been using Prize Picks, and it's super easy. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats and build a lineup. Prize Picks is available in over 40 states, and right now new users can play $5 and get $50 in lineups. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app and use the code GAFollowers. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Now, going back to feeling about something, I saw Stephen Smith kind of double down on calling that shooting of Renee Good completely justified.
Well, in defense of Stephen A., I'm going to defend my brother. And you know, I've been critical of Stephen A. in the past, but I'm going to defend him here, and I'm going to tell you why. They took Stephen A.'s comments out of context. And what I mean by that is, if you go and watch the entire 25-minute segment when he spoke on the Minnesota shooting, right after he said the shooting was completely justified, well, first what he said was, from a legal perspective, the officer is not going to be prosecuted. From a legal perspective, the shooting was justified. I didn't agree with him in saying that. But right after he said that, he said, but from a humanitarian perspective, this did not have to happen. Why did you have to do this? Why couldn't you have shot the tires out on the car? But what the media did, as the white racist media always do, they take whatever they want to take from your soundbite and they ran with it. And what disappoints me is I don't have a problem with black people disagreeing with Stephen A. Smith no more than I have a problem with black people disagreeing with me. But don't take my comments out of context. It wasn't like Stephen A. Smith corrected himself 10 minutes later. The very next sentence he said, from a humanitarian perspective, she did not have to die. He even went on one of them shows and debated one of the white conservatives as to the fact that that woman did not have to die that day. So Stephen A. is being done wrong here. And unfortunately, you got black influencers who are taking his comments out of context. They're only reporting on the shooting was completely justified. They're not clarifying that the man did say, from a humanitarian perspective, that mother did not have to die. So I'm going to stand with Stephen A. because he did clarify them remarks and nobody's dealing with his clarity.
All right. So you see ICE and the National Guard kind of infiltrating all of the cities, right?
They are.
Are they coming for African Americans next?
Here's my question. When did they stop coming for African Americans? See, we have a bad habit as black people of being swept up in the alarmism of the moment, failing to realize this never stopped for you. Have you ever heard of Breonna Taylor? Have you heard of Trayvon Martin? Have you heard of Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Sonia Massey, Sonia Bland, Freddie Gray, Amir Locke? You understand? This never stopped for us, but we have this need to feel included with everybody else because we know nobody likes black people, immigrants included. So whenever they're going through something, we have to jump in and act like we're sharing it with them. Yes, black people have been attacked by ICE. Yes, you've had black people shot by ICE, but this ICE a wave of terrorism, this has never not been the case for black people. It may be new for the Mexicans. You see, it may be new for the African immigrants. This has been state-sanctioned behavior for all police against black people since the end of slavery. It's nothing new. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
So we saw you briefly touch on what happened in Venezuela in another interview. I think we were at the beginning of it, but now we've had more occurrences in that situation happen. Now with more information being out, what are your thoughts about the Venezuelan situation with Trump?
I'm going to be very clear about this. Jeffrey Epstein was Israeli secret intelligence. He was a Mossad agent. In the way that the Zionists control those who have power in America is through blackmail. Jeffrey Epstein had a secret assignment to entrap, through pedophilia and other decadent sexual acts, every financier of influence, every entertainer of influence, every politician of influence. His job was to find all of the influencers over the American power structure and entrap them through Epstein Island. Donald Trump, I don't know if he participated in any of the disgusting crimes against those black children, because most of the victims were black children, but he had knowledge of it. And the Zionists know Donald Trump had knowledge of it. So Donald Trump is now a puppet for the Zionists. Everything that Donald Trump is doing, he's doing because he has no choice but to do. If Donald Trump goes against the Zionist agenda, he will go to jail for the rest of his life for being complicit in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. People are saying Donald Trump said no new wars. Donald Trump said, why are we fighting other people's battles? If the war isn't important for America, why are we getting in it? But now you see him, he completely contradicted himself. You just bombed Nigeria. You bombed and invaded Venezuela, kidnapped the president. You sending threats to Iran that you're going to bomb them on behalf of the Zionists in Israel. Why is Donald Trump dancing to a different drum than the one he played when he campaigned for presidency of the United States a second term? Because he didn't know the Zionists had a blackmail card on him. Donald Trump has to do exactly what they tell him to do, or he will go to jail for the rest of his life. Not because he participated necessarily, but because he had knowledge of it and did nothing about it. There's a viral video of Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. I think they're at the White House, and Donald Trump pulls his chair out, and then he sits down and he pushes his chair. And he was basically being subservient to Netanyahu. You've never seen Donald Trump as arrogant and narcissistic as he is. You've never seen him be subservient to any man. That's the first time I've seen Donald Trump be subservient